I'm ready.
All right. Bob, you said you're already recording?
Yep.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome to episode 75 of the Making Geeks Podcast. We are the podcast for makers, dads, and geeks. And we have our usual co-host with us today, starting with Mr. Josh Price.
Hey, everybody.
And we have Mr. Mark O'Keefe with us.
What's going on?
And Mr. Wes Swain.
Hello.
And I am Sean Jolliker. But wait, we have another guest with us today, making his third appearance on the show, of course, because another Star Wars movie just came out, Mr. Bob Clagett.
What's up, fellas?
Hey.
Hey. Am I the most visiting
I
guest?
think so. I think you're our Alex.
The most reoccurring.
Yeah.
Nice.
This is completing the trilogy right here.
Sweet.
Yes.
This is the end of my run, apparently.
You're our
The original
Alec
trilogy.
Baldwin.
We don't plan on
Alec
making
Baldwin,
Yep. Alec
Steve
Baldwin.
Martin.
we don't plan on making prequels of this, so this
Aw.
is. So how you guys been? What have you been up to? Which might be strange to ask, but
We just had a recording yesterday, so we have to come up with some new stuff that I did today.
I
I've been
watched
looking
a
for
lot of
houses.
Rapunzel today.
A lot of Rapunzel. That sounds action
Yeah,
packed.
Tangled. I'm trying to get my daughter on a cartoon that's not PJ Masks, so my brain doesn't melt at the end of her viewing habits. And Tangled's got some adult jokes in it, so it's fun.
you mean you don't watch YouTube on your phone while that's on the TV?
No, I try. I don't want her to I don't want that image of daddy and mommy are always on their phone. So I try when I'm with her, I try and stay off of it as much as I can.
That's a good habit to have.
Also
I've
a
been
weird
looking
one
at-
to have. It's the future. Sorry, Josh. Josh's house is.
No, I thought you were done, man. You're sick, you have extended pauses.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we went looking at houses today.
How'd
So
that
we
go?
have, it was fun. I forgot how much fun looking at houses is.
That's sarcasm,
And
right?
then- No, it's kind of neat.
Sorry. Okay.
It's fun today. It won't be fun tomorrow,
Yeah.
or the next 30 days you're looking.
Well, when you've lived in 400 square feet for the last, year and a half, it's really funny when your wife goes, "These bedrooms are kind of small." I'm like, "For real? You're serious?" So, yeah, looking at it through, a maker's mindset, you kind of look past all of the super outdated, mega ugly wallpaper, and you're like, "Yep, this has potential. I can do this, and this." That's relatively low impact, but looked at a place today that had a 3-car detached garage. Another place that had a dedicated workshop. That's exciting. So to me, it's a closet in the back of an RV.
Rewind.
So that's exciting because it's exciting because the shop space is intriguing because I don't have to work in the rain at the back of an RV. So it's exciting.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah. Wes, by the way,
Let's see. I've been working on some 3D printed lithophane projects. A friend of my wife wanted one, so got a little collage of different pictures of hers and 3D printed a piece, and now I'm CNCing some kind of frame setup for it. And I was going to start that, but then I realized it would probably overlap the recording time here, so I didn't. So it's just sitting there waiting. It's all primed and ready to go. Got a piece of cherry on there. But
Did you make the lithophane yourself, or did you use the website that makes them for you?
well, to say it makes it for me, that takes some of the, the pride
See,
out of it.
lithophanes are hard. It's still awesome, but lithophanes.
It's
even
pretty
to
easy.
try and do
I
that,
can't really
it's
talk it up.
crazy.
It's pretty easy. Yeah, it looks like it could be complicated, but it's not too bad. Just have to tweak a lot of settings just to kind of get it right. There's a lot of areas to over tweak and have stuff fail and not look right. So
Yeah.
I think I got it dialed in. But yeah, that's what I've been up to.
Sean, there you go.
Well, I was kind of waiting for him to hand it off like
Oh,
we're
sorry.
supposed to.
I couldn't remember who
I
went
remember-
last, so I didn't want to say
Remember
the
our
wrong one.
first day.
And as Bob can tell, we still have a lot to learn doing this. So, I am just trying to finish up the last day or so of work, so I can kind of start my Christmas break and have those 16 days to hopefully get some more shop time. Although the cold actually settled in here, so it's gonna be a little bit harder to be in the shop. But on top of that, I signed the paperwork that I needed to today to kind of get my credentialing process, so I could be certified in teaching those 2 extra classes that I'm teaching with AP Computer Science and Video Production. So I get to keep my job. Yay!
Jobs are good.
So I guess it's time for the best-selling author to tell us what he's been up to.
This is the first stop on your book tour, right?
Within.
Mr.
Can we
Why
claim
do you sign
that?
a digital
Stop.
copy?
Bob Clagett Esquire.
Yeah. I've been, up to the same old. Yeah, my book went out a couple days ago, yesterday, I guess. And that's crazy. Pretty cool. People seem to be enjoying it. And put out a new video today making some updates to my miter saw station, which was, I think, like simple improvements, but they made a pretty big difference. So, and it was one of those videos where I didn't really think people would be too interested, because if they didn't see the first one, these are like updates to a thing that they have no context for. And so I didn't really think it was going to do super well, but actually people are really digging the fact that I took comments out of the first video and used those as suggestions to make updates to. So, I think they feel maybe involved, or maybe just, are happy that I'm listening to people. I don't know. But,
I can see
Yeah.
that.
so
Makes a big difference.
yeah, doing that. And I've always got 1,000 things in there, as Josh knows. We have lots of stuff mid-process all the time. Everything's overlapping. I've been trying to design these, like, bunk beds for several days now. Something that should be relatively simple and straightforward and has been done a billion times, and I'm just spinning on it. So that's kind of where my head's been today. It's just in Fusion, trying to design bunk beds.
Now, are you looking at something traditional and practical or thematic?
Yes. I mean, it really not really thematic. It was supposed to be pretty traditional, pretty straightforward, because it's something I want to make plans for. If I can do something that's a little bit unique, I want to make plans so I have a thing to sell. And then I kind of went down one path, and then my wife and I were looking at the boys' room, because we have to make 2 sets of bunk beds. So we're looking at like how to fit them in today, and like all the stuff that I had kind of planned for and thought through, we were like, oh nope, we got to put them over there instead. So that changes everything. So I had to start over, and so it's not nothing complex, but I have a couple of really specific things I'm trying to work into the design, and where they go in the room affects like the faces of the piece of furniture that you want to see and what's attached to the wall, and so it just kind of, I have to start with the end product and reverse engineer it, but the end product keeps changing, so that's tough, but I'll get there.
You've done that really nice design a couple of times now. You're getting pretty good at it.
Yeah, thanks. I
You
do
keep
something
circling
really
back
nice,
around to,
then I just throw it away, start over and over.
well, what if it did this? We're like, yeah, that was like
Yeah.
version number 2. That was a good idea yesterday.
Yeah.
It's funny with the whole context
Yeah,
of the
that's
show
funny.
being different this time around with, boss and employee.
I like to think of it as collaborator instead of employee. It sounds better.
Of course. But
Josh
still.
is my... What was your title that we came up with?
Oh man, officially, like I was telling people, like, I'm the operations manager, like, 'cause it sounds legit, but I think I became like the intergalactic.
Yeah, it was like
Or
director
something
of,
intergalactic.
director of
Planetary?
intergalactic operations, I think is what it was.
It's
So,
legit.
Need
I
to
want
get
to see
you a
that on a
card.
business card, yeah.
I'm gonna You know, laser cut myself an employee of the month thing.
Do it. You get one. You just hang on to that one every month.
So, it's enough beating around the bush. All the pleasantries are done. We've all said hello.
Fight! Fight!
Yeah.
Star Wars time.
Is that where this is going? Fight?
This is going to be
Know
worse
how-
than the Rogue One conversation.
Oh.
Man.
Well, it's weird though, because to save up for this moment, like for those who can see the YouTube video, like over Bob's shoulder is my seat. So we sit that close to each other, and we have purposely not talked about this movie. So we saved. It's not easy. So this is a spoiler cast. This is from that moment on. You don't need any more false starts. We're gonna spoil the crap out of this movie. If you haven't gone and watched it,
It stopped now.
yeah, if you're not in a
Keep
coma,
going.
you should have watched this movie already. If you're late, go watch it. So, see, how do we normally do this? We can, did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? And then go around, talk about characters, storyline. We'll just let it go. We'll try not to go down any rabbit holes because there's 5 of us. It's probably going to happen, but we'll try to minimize it.
Probably.
So, start with Sean. No, well, we won't start with Sean because you seem like you're gonna break this whole thing. Wes,
I'll go last.
there you go. Sir Wesley, you like it, love it, hate it.
I saw it twice. The first time I saw it was with a friend of mine, and it was kind of late at night, so I think I was a little bit more tired than I thought I was. So I think that might have impacted my initial observation negatively. I didn't really fall asleep or anything. It wasn't that bad, but I think I got
Wasn't Justice
distracted a lot. Was that?
It wasn't Justice League.
Right, right. I think I got distracted a little bit easier on things that I got kind of like hung up on, like something new out, like off the wall, like tripped me up, and I was thinking about that too long, and I would miss something else that was possibly cool. And I think my adult analytic brain was overpowering my desire to just enjoy it, if that makes sense. But overall, I really liked it. For the first time, I liked it a decent amount. There were things that I was surprised that they did. Like, we'll just start out with the Leia hovering thing. That was strange at first.
Space Angel.
But on the second viewing, a lot of these things that kind of tripped me up at first, I sort of accepted them as if they were like already canon. I'm like, all right, let me just think of it like from a kid perspective, because when we all first watched the original trilogy, we didn't think about like, oh, I wonder if that technically could happen, or oh, I don't think that's canon. You know, all the things that we trip up on as an adult. I think I wanted to have that experience, and I sort of got disappointed by the end of the movie after listening to some other people's opinions on it. I thought that I should have enjoyed it more, so I sort of like felt guilty that I didn't, if that makes sense. And then I watched it again last night with Catherine and Grant and Samantha, and I enjoyed it a lot more. I was watching their reactions, and it was a little bit more of a community sort of effect, I guess. Kind of like I was feeding off of their excitement, and Grant, even just the opening crawl, Grant was just like, oh, wow, like the Star Wars. That was the first time you ever saw that, you know, in theater, was the Star Wars crawl, and it was pretty awesome. So I got a little bit of the child influence, which I think helped my viewing. But I'll get into specifics once we start looping around. But I mean, I liked a lot of it. The space battles were good to have, since they didn't have any space battles at all in The Force Awakens, which was severely lacking. I liked the technology and a lot of the visual effects that they used. I definitely liked Yoda popping in. That was pretty sweet. nice surprise.
You're gonna do this whole podcast by yourself right now.
Apparently, I'm waiting for you guys to interject, but you're just.
So
letting
you
me
liked
go.
it.
I didn't love
That
it.
was a question.
Yeah, sorry.
You liked it.
I liked it.
Didn't love it, but liked it.
I liked it more the second time. So I would say it's an A versus a low B the first time.
Do you guys think we're looking at the original 3 movies through rose-colored glasses?
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I don't have that much to nitpick about the first movies. You know, Star Wars was great, Empire was awesome, Jedi wasn't perfect, but it was still fun. And I mean, to me, it feels like these movies are missing something, and I can't put my finger on it. Like Rogue One.
You've always talked about wanting a new family line besides the Skywalker, so it's been kind of linear for you, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why I loved Rebels. Rebels was awesome because it was just a whole entire. It was in the same universe in generally the same story, but a whole entire new crew of people. And Rogue One felt more of a Star Wars movie to me than these new ones did. You know, I got more attached to those characters than I have anyone really in these, other than, you know. But even Han felt weird in the first one. You know, that was more Harrison Ford than Han Solo.
Okay. Well, did you like it?
I
Was it meh?
I did enjoy. It was meh for me. I liked it, but it's not. It's missing something. Sean? Or no, we're saving Sean for last. We'll go. Yeah.
I agree with Wes. I liked it the first time. It definitely had it had a sine curve. It started off kind of slow and then I think escalated toward the middle. I enjoyed it. It wasn't the same kind of the hoopla and the crowd, Wes, like you were talking about when I saw The Force Awakens with Deacon. The crowd in the theater was a lot more vibrant and made it a lot more fun. This one was a lot more low key. The second time I liked it better than the first time. I think I got to pay attention to a lot more stuff and I noticed more things that I didn't really see the first go around.
Mm-hmm.
But if there was, I'm on the edge between like it and love it. I'm in like it, staring at love it.
I can see
There you
that.
go. Yeah, Bob.
I think I'm right there in that same spot. I don't know that I liked it more the second time. I really loved the surprises that happened the first time. It was genuinely surprising to me. Like in The Force Awakens when Han got stabbed, that was genuinely what? Everything just changed. And I felt that several times in this one. And, there was a lot of stuff about it that I, as a original trilogy fan, there's a lot of stuff that my initial gut reaction was oh man, they can't do that. Oh, that messes with the.
Right.
Oh, you can't. That doesn't fit. But that's exactly, I think, the message of the movie.
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
a
Let the past
subversive
die.
message,
Yeah.
and it's really overt at the same time. Yeah,
Mhm.
let the past die, and Mark, you said it didn't feel like a Star Wars movie, but I think that was the entire point. It is a Star Wars movie, whether we feel like it's a Star Wars movie or not. And so what defines what's a Star Wars movie? We base it on the nostalgia feeling that we have when we look back at those things that we loved growing up because of where we were and who we were at that time. But, it doesn't have to fit into those things to still be what it is, I guess. That's kind of what, after watching it the second time, I was like, oh yeah, I totally get, the movie itself is saying this movie is not what you want. And that's okay, because we're not here to please you. We're here to create a new series of places to go for future people to have the same feeling that you had when you watched Empire or when you watched A New Hope or whatever.
See, I think it's interesting you said that.
Mark's twitching. He's
No, I mostly agree with that, but I don't think it's the direction of the storytelling that's making it not feel like a Star Wars movie to me. You know, it's like I'm not in any way, shape, or form. I'm not attached to Finn. Ray is all right. Poe is great. I love the fact that I actually had outbursts of audible laughter in the middle of a movie theater when he was on screen in the beginning. That was funny to me. I like the fact that he's like a smartass in the face of imminent danger,
which is a theme now. He's done that twice.
Yeah, exactly. But it's, I don't know. There's, like I said, I can't put my finger on it. I don't know what it is. I think I'd have to rewatch Rogue One and then go back to the first two movies and then just watch them carefully. But it feels like there's just something weird to me about it, you know. But I do like the directions. I agree with you. They're saying we are making a new universe. We're moving on from what you've known, which that I'm fine with. Excuse me.
All right, John.
I don't know if I loved it or hated it.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
It is.
On your soapbox.
No, I think I have a fundamental problem with some of the storytelling itself. I don't have an issue with it feeling like a Star Wars movie or not feeling like a Star Wars movie. I have a problem with the fundamentals of the storytelling. I don't like any film or storyline where I feel jerked around. And that's exactly how I felt in this film. And I kind of feel like I can't even say anything about it until episode 9. And the entire thing almost felt like filler. I liked 20 minutes of the film. And the rest I really didn't care about. I don't think it had a big enough impact because, you know, we're not getting any real answers until episode 9. I've heard a lot of people say, or even like in the production of it, saying it was being compared to The Empire Strikes Back because of the tone and all those things. But it's actually nothing like The Empire Strikes Back at all. And I wish it would have ended on an even, maybe even like a bigger downer somehow. I don't know what to make of this film. I don't know. I'm really confused by it. I'm not sure. It almost felt like Attack of the Clones to me. I know that's hitting below the belt. I know that's hitting below the belt.
In like it is a stepping stone to something else. Because I think I get what you're saying with that. Like it's a chunk. It's the piece. It's not an end cap. It's not the points on the EKG. It's that lull in the middle that is kind of necessary, but
it really felt like a waste. Like all I did was fund episode 9.
It's the piece of map that R2 had, or BB had, or whoever had.
Well,
Get to the
I
rest
think if you boil this movie down to like people who don't know Star Wars, I think that they would completely agree with that. It's like this movie, a bunch of people are getting chased, and then it's the slowest chase scene in the history of space. And then half of your heroes go off on a completely foolhardy voyage that they shouldn't have been on in the first place that you don't really care about, and then they like end up killing a bunch of people from their efforts. So I don't know.
It was fruitless.
See, like I mean,
I could kind of get that.
I agree with you in a lot of ways. Like about halfway through the first viewing, I was like, I don't really understand like what's happening here. I don't get this. And then there was something, and I can't remember the exact moment. There was something that all of a sudden the story just like took off and it like started happening all of a sudden. And so that's what kind of salvaged it for me. Like that's the stuff I really enjoyed was after that point, whatever that was.
After the casino section.
That may have been, yeah. But I think like what you were talking about, like the you know, it being like a chunk that doesn't really relate to anything or doesn't complete anything. I kind of actually see it as like, I don't think they really need episode 9 to finish some story. Like, what are we walking away with at the end of this that's really unfinished that matters? We know that the rebels are now out to start a new thing. They're like, you know, they got away, they're safe. There's hope has been restored to the galaxy. Everybody believes that anybody can be a Jedi now.
I think it's because Snoke isn't dead.
What?
I'm leaning towards that too.
He's not dead.
He went out way too quick, and there was this big huge buildup that he was the big huge bad, and he gets blinked out in the clip of a finger.
It's one of those rhyming things where Luke was projecting, while Snoke was projecting too.
I still don't see how people are surprised that a character that has been hyped up just like magically goes away in some very anticlimactic way. It's a Boba Fett. It's a Captain Phasma. It's unfortunate, I think, that it happens.
If we were Darth Maul again, I'm going to be really pissed.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like, this is not a new thing in the Star Wars universe.
At the end of the movie.
Or did he?
Well.
Okay.
I did like that storyline too.
Then let's hop into characters then. Who is your favorite character? Who is your least favorite character? And when was their like either crowning moment or their like get out of here you suck moment? Mark. You seem to love Poe.
I think Poe is my favorite, but I really hope they bring back Benicio because I want to see that character. I want to see more of that character. I think he was kind of cool, and it seems like there's more to it. And even if he is just a money hungry guy, seeing him get it will be cool too. But yeah, no, ultimately I like Poe. He was funny, and you saw he actually grew in the movie.
I think he caused the most problems in this entire movie.
Yeah.
Like, the First Order did what the First Order does, right? They try to shoot them, and they did that the whole movie.
Repeat.
Like, the First Order tried to blow people up. That's what they do. There's no change. Like, Poe's actions the entire time caused the death of almost the entire rebellion. Because of him being, like, arrogant and childish. And not only, like, did he lose all the bombers and got disobeyed and he got demoted and, like, he's like, oh, hey, guys, this lady is not doing what I think that she should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's send you guys off on a foolhardy mission that now you get DJ who tells the bad guys where the good guys are going and kills a whole bunch more of them. Like, I'd say the Poe is the biggest antagonist out of this entire movie. It irritated me.
Yeah. The light speed ramming sequence was the coolest spaceship sequence in any sci-fi movie ever. That was so cool.
Visually, it was pretty stunning.
That was
in the audio, how it just went
And
out.
the use of the sound.
Yeah. That was so great.
I love that, but I had a problem is if that was so easy to do, why don't they use that as like a tactic more often? Put a droid on the last ship, like just have all the ships that are getting ready to die. Yeah, I mean, that's
more than that. Why did it take
effective.
so long for her to realize that or actually come up with that idea? She could have saved more people.
Before that, I have a fundamental problem with her before that, right? All of the little ships are veering off to the right, and now they're drawing fire from the big ship behind her. It takes her so long. She could have just listed to the right and got in the way with her rear deflector sheet.
I was wondering about that too.
Prevented half of those guys from being blown up. Instead, she's like, "Look, I could drown and just annihilate them." Which, okay,
well,
ultimately it works. But I'm like, "You're
okay." Go even further back though. Poe goes, "What's the plan?" And she's like,
Yeah, true.
She just turns around instead of going, "Here's the plan. Don't do something stupid. I can save a lot of people. Here's the idea." You know what I mean? Like that was a problem. Pretty early.
And I thought about that, right? Because I've heard somebody say something. And Wes, I wanted to get your opinion. When you would get like a new commander in the military, you tried to like flex off and you're like, God, I don't like this person. I like the super chill person I knew before. And me and this person are going to butt heads. And I thought about that. I'm like, she doesn't owe him anything. She's a leader and she's doing what she has to do. And she's got a lot on her plate. She doesn't owe this hotshot, super cocky guy any kind of explanation. And I think the people are like, she should have just told him. She should, like, that's not her business as a leader of a thing to... Yeah, like, it's your job to be disciplined and listen to the people that are above you, and that he wasn't. And so rather than her being at fault for not sharing her plan with everybody, because that's, man, she's in charge. You don't question who's in charge. You just go.
Poe's not the best soldier.
this is apparent.
That's true.
There were a whole bunch of dead heroes because he was a bad.
I was a little surprised that I figured they would have, like when Princess Leia got blown out the window. I was like, oh, that's the way they take her out. You know, and then whoop, she comes back in. I was like, oh, okay, she's not dead yet. And then when somebody had to stay behind on the ship, and I was like, oh, that's the way they're gonna bow her out.
I think the entire movie was a bait and switch for like a lot of sequences.
There was a lot of
so you got Leia, right? Bait and switch for her death. You got a bait and switch near the end where you think that it's Captain Stutterpants, Benicio del Toro, going to be on the ATST, but it's really BB-8.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I didn't think that at all.
No,
I knew it was.
I
was hoping that was going to be his redemption. He had a mini redemption moment, and then he completely lost it when he just took the money and ran.
Your expectation for learning who Rey's parents are was a bait and switch. Your expectation, whether it's justified or not, it just seems like there's like a lot of them in here. Like the Snoke, build up for nothing. Rey and Kylo Ren teaming up. So I don't know, it seemed like that sort of mechanic was used a lot. Sometimes in good ways, sometimes not. Like, I don't know. Just observation.
Did it get you emotionally charged in those moments?
Yeah, as a way to say, F you fans, we don't really care what you think.
Well, also at the end, when Luke gets up.
Yep.
Yeah, it looks at the two sons, and you're like, "Oh, everything's gonna be okay." Woof.
Well,
you sons of.
So
the sun was
is that what you thought?
The sun was setting.
The suns? Yeah, the sun was going down. Like it
was Mira's first scene. Yeah,
he's done. He's on his way up.
Yep. Well, it was the callback to the first movie, so it was like his moment of serenity, So I was like, all right, things might be
finished.
Okay.
It's finished for him. He's come full circle. Like there's nothing else that he needs to do.
I'm not really angry that Luke died. I'm angry that I don't get to see Mark Hamill a lot anymore.
That's not necessarily true.
He'll be back. He'll be a Force ghost.
There's a third lesson that Rey needs to be taught, and he's going to do it as a ghost.
I wanted to see him wipe the floor with Kylo in a lightsaber fight. With some real consequences.
It kind of feels like there's no rules anymore. And they're kind of wiping the slate in a lot of different ways. We saw that a Force ghost could interact with the real world.
In multiple ways.
In multiple ways.
Lightning strike.
You saw basically this Force projection across, I don't know what distance that would have been.
Well, that's not the first time you've seen that in canon, though. They did that in the cartoon, in Rebels.
But how much of the audience watches that? I haven't seen any of Rebels.
It's still
okay.
Canon.
No, it is still canon, but when you create a film like that, you have to create it in a way that somebody who's not
else doesn't matter.
Doesn't read. Well, not that it doesn't matter, but they should be able to connect the dots and see the stuff despite that. And it kind of feels like it's working the opposite now, where they're almost depending on people knowing all that extra information to really kind of connect those dots.
I think that's giving a grateful nod to the fans instead of giving the FU to the fans like that. Like,
oh no, I think the nod is great, but it shouldn't be essential to understanding the story.
It's like you've done your homework. Like you're gonna like this one. This is a smart joke. Like the Sith Kyber crystal that was hanging up in Luke's hut. Like when we watched it the second time, I was like, "Ooh, what's that?" I thought it was Darth Vader's. But then if you look at the visual dictionary, it talks about that it's the the Legion of Jedi or something.
Jedi Crusaders.
But somebody else. Yeah. So you'd have to know that backstory to get that little Easter egg. So that's
and his compass. His compass in there was visible. That was in the latest game as well. Apparently, I didn't know that. I saw that after the fact.
But you can buy at all your local Targets. But yeah, I like that it does reward the people that are paying attention. So. Okay, so Leia floating through space.
I was okay with that.
Okay.
I mean, like looking back on it, I guess I'm okay with it. In the moment, I was just like, wait.
Yes,
what?
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't mind it. I just don't like the way it's shot.
Well, you figure that Luke had to give her some kind of basic understanding of Force powers over the years.
I'm gonna break this. Okay. Qui-Gon Jinn, right? Jedi Master, completely in tune with the Force, gets stabbed with a lightsaber through a part of your body that you can probably live through at least a little while. Boom, he's dead. No question about it. All the Jedi in the arena when, the order comes down and they're getting, like, blastered. So you get shot by a blaster when normally, if he's a main character, it's like, ow, but I'm still kind of okay. Like, nope, they're dead. There's no question about it. You are dead. She will, I would say, arguably, have the worst death of all of those people getting sucked out into the void of space, like the nitrogen boiling in your blood and you freezing to death. And she's like, no, I'm okay. The Force is good. The Force is going to protect me and I'm going to fly back without any thrusters or whatever. So I'm like, well, how did all of these other Master
Star-Lord
Jedi
could do
who
it.
were-
She could do it too.
I don't know. And then the
Same
bombers who
universe.
were just like open to the vacuum of space.
That I was
I thought that
wondering
was-
about.
Magnetic fields. That's the same way. That's the same way
Yeah.
they do the docking bays. Yeah, that's the same thing.
Okay.
And also, a ship that big would have had its own gravitational pull, would it not?
It would have been super
What, the
slow.
Dreadnought?
Yeah.
Or
Dreadnought.
Snoke's? Yeah, I think both of them would
You could have pushed them down as they were leaving. You assume they fell. But anyway, like I thought that was disrespectful of all the other Jedi who died in a seemingly kind of like throwaway manner. That they just got shot and they're just gone for good. And she had like the worst kind of hell death, and a little finger twitch brought her back to life. Like that upset me. But then
Well,
I'm like, okay,
She did a force pull.
So she is a Skywalker, right? So inherently, she has more force ability than everybody else ever has, ever. And one of the things I read was that it wasn't necessarily she decided, like she's out in space going, oh, I'm about to die, blood's boiling, I should reach for the ship. It was more of like a reflex. Like it's a thing that's dormant inside her that apparently she only used a couple of times in like the stories that have been written, after Jedi. But that kind of works for me, where it's just like a survival reflex, that just kind of happened. I do think it would be a lot more acceptable for me if she came back and like they got her in the ship and she was like her skin was burnt and stuff because of all the frozen stuff that would be on the outside of her, but that would be not very pretty to look at in a movie, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
first
Star
time
Wars never been a graphic injury type of movie,
except
I
for
don't know.
getting
Yeah, except for
dismembered
all
and
of-
burning to death.
And the
they're
Wampa
coming in.
scene, you got
Snoke.
jacked up.
Well, actually, no. From what I read with the Wampa scene was they had to do that because he had his car accident
Yeah.
before that scene.
But I mean, it was bloodier than like any other
Yeah.
scene that I can think of.
Yeah.
Who knows?
all right. So, what about Canto Bite?
Garbage. It felt like prequels instantly.
Yeah.
It did.
What the casino scene?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I didn't
My-
I didn't hate it because I liked the point how he's pointing out like, oh, look at all these rich people, empire, empire, empire. Oh, look, rebels stuff. They're all making money off of all of you.
They could have
pointing
had
out.
that in a different feel. It just felt out of
Yeah.
place. And also,
and it was rushed.
it was rushed.
It was rushed.
And the thing that got them, like, they had this plan, and the thing that really, like, screwed the plan over was a parking ticket. Seriously, that's what you're going to go with?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a little bit.
Southern
alien. Hey, come on now. Yeah.
That was
beach.
that was Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
Really?
his name was Slow and Low. So it's another Beastie Boys reference.
Nice.
And I could have done without the animal abuse kind of thing in there. That was felt unnecessary and forced. Like,
I was kind of waiting for the Sarah McLachlan song to start playing in the background.
No.
Yeah, that
I
entire
asked Bob.
like
and no, sorry.
you
Bob.
asked me what?
No, on Canto Bite, when they panned out over the racetrack, and they were like, "Oh, what's that sound?" It had the big like thump noise, and it just showed the corner of the racetrack. I went, "Are there gonna be pod racers?" Did anybody else think that?
I was hoping. I was actually hoping.
I'm like, "Oh
I mean-
no, it's like bat horses or something." I'm like, "Okay."
That horse
That
dog.
actually
Bat
would have
Ham-
made more sense though,
Bat
because
Camel
that
horses.
would have made it like the prequelness of that whole section would have probably made a little more sense.
Yeah.
You know, because it shouldn't have looked like a prequel, but it totally did.
Pod racing already had an established precedent of child slavery labor.
True.
So now we know that I guess all racetrack themed betting.
You know, Josh, you asked
Based
before
on-
about favorite character and least favorite character.
Mhm.
My least favorite character really was the Kelly Marie Tran Rose.
Yeah, it wasn't.
What?
I don't know if she has a bigger part in what the story they still want to tell, but it seemed forced in there when it didn't need to be. I don't know if they just needed somebody to kind of be a companion for Finn for his little adventure, but it seemed so awkward and out of place. Everything from her infatuation with him to the kiss to her stopping him from basically saving the day. When he was about ready to run down the center of that can, I'm like, yes, finally, like a hero's end. And then that crap happened, and I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. I really did not like that at all.
Bait and switch.
See, now for him to live, I think that Phasma is going to come back in the last one too.
There's no way. She got blown up.
She fell down a pit like Boba Fett.
She got blown up
with
in the
it.
first one. How'd she get off the planet? They dumped her down the garbage chute. She'll come back in the next one because I want her to have a really good death, and those deaths like, oh, okay, I'm gonna whack you in the face and you're gonna fall off a cliff.
So I'm curious. Why do you want her to have a good death? Like, what is it about the character that's worthwhile? Because to me,
Phasma?
yeah, she has a cool suit of armor. That's it. There's
I
no
feel
other
the
reason
same-
for her
I
to.
feel the same way, Bob.
I listened to a review
From a Boba Fett
years
lover.
ago, and they said Phasma brings absolutely nothing to the table except the fancy suit. The only reason why I kind of want her to have more is because who plays her.
It builds on the theme of strong female like characters, and I think that goes with Rose. Like she was an ordinary, just regular person.
There was nothing strong about her.
See,
There's
I would
nothing redeeming
totally,
about
I
her.
would totally go for that excuse if she took her helmet off and fought Finn like a big old tall
Yeah.
beast woman that can beat
Yeah.
down some dude. That would be
That's-
awesome.
That's
didn't
what
do
I
that.
want.
Yeah.
Is it me or does that suit seem like too big for her? Like she
She
looks
swung
like it
around
doesn't
that
fit
stick
her.
pretty good.
Oh yeah, but it looks like it doesn't fit her properly.
She's a giant.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so the suit. We know that suit can deflect blasters. We
It's
learned
made
this.
of Padme's spaceship.
Sure.
That's what I heard.
the Praetorian the Red Guards.
Those were cool.
Okay,
That
so
was cool, yeah.
it's another like I'm learning something new. Apparently there's a piece of armor that can stop a lightsaber. But in the exact same thing, I'm like, what stupid person decided only your forearms are the most vital part of your whole body that need this very like crucial armor, like not your chest or your face?
That they have it. Look, I have the book right here. They have full chest armor and a helmet, shoulder pads, and arms, all made out of the same material.
But
And
not,
their legs.
But they got chopped pretty easily everywhere else except for their forearms. Their forearms could flat out like stop a lightsaber like lunge, but just he parried one of them. He's like, that guy died. And granted, it was an awesome fight scene. I dug it. I just wondered why did they skimp on the rest of the armor? It looked all the same. I'm like, why did the
didn't
properties
get
of the
congressional
forearms...
approval for more body armor. And you know how that is.
Oh, true.
Yeah, the military guy is going to be critical here.
I got the quality assurance process for the rest of that armor was subpar.
I mean, the lightsaber to the face was pretty awesome way to end that whole fight sequence. That was
Yeah.
And her dropping the saber and grabbing it again.
Lightsabers, but it can't point blank.
So
yeah, because I mean, one of them got it straight to the chest too, and that was like seemed to go right in.
So what do you say we talk about predictions at this point?
Oh, I have no idea what they're gonna do here.
If this movie taught you anything, it's to not predict anything.
But it's still
Well,
part of the fun of the process.
It is.
Well,
It is.
okay, about predictions though. Let's talk about predictions for this one. Like, did anything that you thought was going to happen in this movie actually happen?
Mhm.
What was it?
Luke dying.
Yep, I had
Yeah.
Luke dying. But I thought, at a certain point in there, I thought that Kylo was going to kill him, and I thought that he was going to let Kylo kill him, like the Vader Kenobi fight, because Luke was like, "I failed you. I know I failed you. I've like lit the fire in her. There's nothing more I can do. I will be much strong. You strike me down, I will be stronger than you can ever think." Right. So I thought that he was going.
That statement's
to,
going to come back around.
Well,
Yes.
I mean, he kind of did, right? I mean,
Well,
like
when he got chopped, like I thought that was it. I was waiting for him
Yeah.
to turn around. I'm like, did he turn around so slowly? His top half is just not falling off yet.
They would not have
it's
let
about
Luke
to?
go down that way.
I know.
But I mean, he kind of he did his part with Kylo and then became one with the Force in the same way that Kenobi did it. He did, like, Vader didn't kill
Yeah.
Kenobi.
Right.
You know?
I thought it
That
was
was
going to
him.
be much more personal.
That was part of the reason why I thought Luke was going to live to the next movie to face Kylo again, because he just kept mocking him so much, and he's like, "I'll see you around, kid."
But
Like-
you know, Kylo's not his fight.
Yeah. That's Rey's
Yeah.
fight.
Do
I
you
would
think
have
it was
loved
out
to
of-
see Luke fight Snoke.
Do you think it was out of character that he had that moment of weakness and pulled the saber on him? Like, do you think that was something that you expected Luke to have, that sort of vulnerability, to have a dark side or a dark thought to be able to do that? Or I had some people online say it seemed kind of strange.
It's part of the problem with 30 missing years of storyline for his character, and that he didn't really have proper Jedi training or any of those things. I don't know. It's probably a question we can't really answer.
I mean, for me,
Sorry.
it calls back to the cave on Dagobah. Like, that to me was showing he is weak and he is not really ready for this. And then he takes off from his training, Sean, like that, and he didn't get completed. And so,
Yep.
yeah, it didn't seem that, because and he even kind of said that, he made the point about how his legend has become this thing about he was so perfect and he was so great, and he's really just as messed up as everybody else.
Which means that we're never going to see what we thought he was capable of.
Right. Well, I guess you kind of did, though. Like, in the end, like his
I mean, yeah,
final act.
that is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
that is part of the 20 minutes that I did like.
Yeah.
Did you guys catch when Rey and Ren did the Force Skype call? One of them, where she was like in the rain or something, and then some of the liquid got transferred back into Kylo Ren's hand, so they transported matter across.
Yeah.
Yep, space
Like-
and time.
Well, they
That's-
touched each other. They touched hands,
Yeah,
and in the
but-
Disney universe, that means they're married now. Like holding hands in the Disney world.
Well, I mean, the whole way they took the Force, I thought was really cool. I really liked it. But instead of it being this, thing, and they were super overt about this thing that you have in you that you can manipulate and everything, with things like that, they really push the fact that the Force is everything.
It is
And
the
the
universe,
characters, it is. And the characters are just small pieces of that. And once they start to realize that, then they can control more of the stuff that's outside of themselves. And I think that, that water thing, that was really cool because it interconnected people at a distance through this thing that really does supposedly span the distance between them. I thought that was cool.
And that relates to another question, though. Snoke actually took credit for making that connection. Do they have that connection regardless of Snoke?
Well, they did it
Is it-
afterwards too. Yeah, they did,
So
because she shut the
There-
door in his face, basically.
there's a lot of speculation about them being related, and them still maybe using the Solo twins from the Legends canon now.
I can't figure that out. It seems like Han or Leia. What of the
Well,
two
well,
parents?
Would obviously know, right?
Yeah, they would have brought that up. Like, maybe you're my missing daughter that I haven't seen in 30 years or whatever. But
Did I forget I had another kid?
yeah, I don't know. I don't go for that. I mean, I would absolutely love if Rey was a Kenobi. That would be the coolest storyline. I would love that. But I don't think it's the thing.
But
There was
in The
also
Force
people
Awakens
saying-
too, Kylo seemed to know who she was, though. So if she was the daughter of nobody, he wouldn't have heard about her yet, right? Like, he knew about her
Yeah.
before they met on screen somehow. So
Well, she saw the island out of nowhere. He could have seen her do stuff out of nowhere too. That's a stretch, but if this were
I'll accept
oral
it.
arguments in a jury, it's plausible.
There's also theories that she's a Jinn. She's from Qui-Gon's line.
Yeah.
The hairdo.
And that could happen with her parents still being a nobody.
Actually, you know what would be really interesting though is, well, actually that'd take her down a couple generations though, because what if Jin and Skywalker hooked up? That means she'd be a hybrid of both, or I don't know.
We're getting dirty now.
Jin Walker.
Jin Walker.
I got one more question. The dice, right? So did Leia leave the dice behind on purpose? The virtual projected dice? Did she leave them behind on purpose for Kylo to find? And two, when I watched it the second time, there was a huge gap in time after Luke died. There's like another little scene, and then it goes back to him holding it, and they were still there. Then they disappeared. So
He didn't die though. That's the thing, man.
So you're saying he kept them in projected state while it went to the Force Ghost?
If Yoda as a Force Ghost can bring down lightning and set a tree on fire, Luke can drop some dice and leave them there for his nephew to find, just as a little, like, I'm going to poke you in the face, even though I'm gone, you know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Boop. Is there anything that you want to happen in the next episode?
I want some super memorable characters. I want someone I want them to up the lightsaber battle. Because you had like, I think the best one they ever had was with the Darth Maul 3 fight, and then the second was Rey and Kylo with the guards.
See, I think that one's up there and probably my favorite lightsaber fight. That was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, yeah, when
It's
I was
pretty
watching
epic.
it. Yeah. There were some points where I was like, what? And yay, and that was one of the yays.
I think part of it was just that, like, they're supposed to be enemies, and we don't really know if they're still enemies or not. But, you know, two people who shouldn't fight together turn back to back and start fighting. That's awesome.
When everyone in the room is trying to kill the same people, those same join up.
That's right.
We can put this on hold for a couple minutes. Let's kill these guys.
I think they were both on the same path. Like, they both had the like laser-like focus. I'm going to turn this person. And the closer we get to touching magical fingers, like at that moment, they're both like, yep, I'm going to turn this person. And so they're completely at peace, but they're completely at odds with their intentions. And so when they start fighting and they're like, yes, we are both like gelling. This is great. And then they turn around and go, you should come with me to the other way.
Split that lightsaber.
And they both say it at the same time.
Yeah.
But
And they're like, whoa.
Yeah. All right. So I have a question for you guys. What do you make of the cave scene with Rey?
With like
Because
the
I thought it was
reflection
awesome,
stuff?
but I don't know what to make of it. But I kind of liked it. I don't know what it really is though.
That was supposed to be like the super dark side cave, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
After the second time, I really didn't get it either. Like with their like delayed reflection. And
But I
then
liked it.
Yeah.
It just seemed cool.
Yeah, it was a really cool scene,
you
but
expected it to be two people, and it was really just her. So it was, I don't know, it's a little bit weird.
I mean, I don't know. But what I took from it was she's never like in the moment. She was always looking to get back to Jakku. She always thought something was behind her, like there was a history that she hadn't found yet. And so I took it as she's never like in the moment. She's always looking at stuff ahead that hasn't happened yet, or the stuff behind her that's already happened that's just now catching up with her, and like that she's always looking for stuff that's not really there, and it kind of goes in both directions forever. But I don't know really what they meant by it.
Something about a cycle, some circular, because like she'd click her fingers and it would go and then come back and then come back to her.
And that was weird because there were two different timing things. Did you notice that?
Yep.
Yeah. There was a cycle, but then there was also it starting behind her and coming up to real time and then past her.
Hmm.
And they were different at different times. I didn't get that.
I thought it was trying to emphasize how alone that she actually was, because I thought the whole scene was supposed to relate to her parents,
Right, it's
and
just her.
it was just her.
I don't know.
I tried to justify that she was going to the dark side to go look for something that she really wanted, kind of like Anakin did, where he's like, I gotta save Padme. The only way I can do it is through the dark side. And she's like, all right, I gotta go find my parents, and the only way I guess I can do it is by going down this hole to go to the dark side. And both of them kind of find out that it's really empty, and that it had a lot of false hopes. And I think that's kind of maybe what the dark side does to people that are weak-minded, that it gives you this hope that you can do this monumentous thing in your life, that you think it's the only way. And I guess she was fortunate enough to see that her, I guess, search was pretty much a worthless effort. She wasn't tempted to like full on go to the dark side, and then to find out after she killed a whole bunch of younglings, it's like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter. Your parents were just some nobodies, like Darth, Peggy, like ha ha ha. Like she didn't have to go that route. But I think that's what I took away from it, is that the dark side, albeit alluring, and then you can think it'll give you what you hope that it's going to give you, like it won't. So, but that still doesn't answer the like mirror question.
But maybe it relates to Luke in the cave where he saw Vader. You know, Luke had that natural opposition. Rey basically has nothing. She doesn't really have a natural enemy other than herself.
Deep.
I'm out.
Negative.
Okay.
Is she gonna take the? Did the kyber crystal get cut in half?
It showed it at the end. It showed. I don't know if it got cut in half,
Was
but it
it-
showed one in there.
It was broken.
It was white.
Well, from my reading of past stories, I cannot imagine that it would get cut in half, because they're apparently extremely hard to mine and to shape and stuff. So, I mean, who knows? They're using the Force, but maybe.
Yeah, because I think the world wanting her to pull like the lightsaber out of her staff. I tried to look at the end when she and Leia were looking at it. I'm like, if there were two pieces of it, then that's a kind of rekindling of a Darth Maul staff type lightsaber that she could bust in half. And I don't know. I was like, oh, that'd be cool. So, anybody else? Anything else we want to talk about?
Did you guys have a hankering for blue milkshakes after watching that?
It was the green milk.
I actually laughed at that.
Bob, I saw both of our wives get like visually uncomfortable watching that scene.
Yeah.
Oh, which was a question I was going to ask you guys, like, as true Star Wars fans, like, did that really bother you, or did you go, yeah, I guess that's where milk comes from? Like,
Yeah, sure. That was one
I
of
thought it
those
was
ones
funny.
was just
I liked it.
I thought it was funny.
Okay.
He got all sloppily all in his beard and stuff. Like, Rey's reaction was like, "Oh, look at that cute creature." Oh, and she like looks away. Like, ugh.
That was one of those,
Oh, wait.
like, moments where, like, you know, the person you really respect, you see him do something really just disgusting and nasty, or, like, you know, it knocks him down to, like, real life level.
Sure.
And that was
Humanized.
the first moment of Luke Skywalker being like, oh, that's weird.
He's a bum. Weird, yeah.
He's just an old man.
Just a dude.
How did you guys feel about the porgs?
They look delicious
Didn't
and evenly
care.
cooked.
Yeah.
that got a reaction from all of our kids at the same time. And Chewbacca will rip your arm off over a game of chess, but apparently he's got a soft spot for a doe-eyed chicken bird thing.
And he lets them infest the Millennium Falcon. Like, they're like all over the place. They're like,
And now they're going to be like an invasive species on some other planet, because he just like drug them off to some
That's
other
good.
place.
like a tribble.
That'll
It's
be
basically
episode
a tribble.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, there was one. I know we're pressed for time. There was one thing that has bothered me for Force Awakens, and it didn't get better this movie. Was it one of my, like, I bet I'm freezing up again.
No, you're good.
There we go. Is everything okay?
Good.
Yes.
All right. R2-D2. Like, I love R2-D2. And again, he had, I think, probably one of the most poignant points in the movie that got me a little choked up when he played the original Leia message.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Mm-hmm.
I love that scene. And then he didn't do anything else. Luke walks on board the ship, and you're telling me you're not going to notice the gigantic droid that you've, like, known forever in the middle of a hallway. But Is he aging? Like, are they phasing him out?
Yeah, totally.
He's in power save mode where he is the old man, like incapable of being useful anymore. That's sad.
I think that they're purposely just, I guess, like you guys said, phasing him out,
BB-8.
becoming less dependent on him for any kind of story. That way, when he's not there, you don't miss him.
Is that merchandise driving that, or is that storyline driving it?
I think they're really wiping the slate clean. I think by the end of episode 9, all the
Chewbacca's
characters
gone too.
Yeah, I think all of the original trilogy characters will be, maybe not dead, but just like they're not a part of what we need to tell anymore. So they're off on Wookiee World or Robo Planet doing their thing, whatever.
Harrison Ford used to talk about it in terms of having story responsibility, where if there's no responsibility a character has to the story, then they really shouldn't be there.
That made me sad. I thought that was like R2's, like, it is finished kind of moment. Like, he did that and he dropped the mic, and like that's a wrap for R2D2 now in Star Wars, which I felt, and that made me sad watching it.
It's been 40 years.
It very well could be, because I mean, he would have to have a really specific purpose. I mean, even in the last one, the only purpose he had was to fill a little tiny gap at the end. I mean, he and Luke had the same part in that movie, pretty much.
I was hoping for some explanation as to why he powered on at that critical moment in Force Awakens too. I was thinking maybe like Luke remotely triggered him or something. He just happened to come on at the most opportune, actually the worst time, like after all the other crap happened, right? So
yeah, that just reminded me of something else, but I don't want to have to go on for like 20 more minutes talking about it.
we're here, man. Keep going.
I really wanted, and I know it's partially tradition to open with kind of like a space scene, but I wanted the movie to open right at that scene where Rey's handing Luke this lightsaber. I wanted it to pick up where it left off, and it didn't, and I was actually disappointed because of that.
Then how'd you feel when he chucked it over his shoulder?
That was funny.
That's fine, but I still would have wanted that at the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah. I think I heard a couple people go, "What?" like in the theater when that happened.
You guys think they're gonna make Billy Lord's character a bigger part of it?
She had a lot of lines this time.
You started the Resistance. There's not a whole lot there to go with.
Yeah, she and Poe will probably end up being the kind of not together, but will be the leaders. I would expect. They seem to be rising to the top.
Yep.
Do you guys think Billy D is going to be back? Is he part of the summoned group that was like out on the fringes that they sent the message to, or is he long gone?
Ooh, that's a good point.
I think there was some reason they said that they were planning on having him in this one, but I gotta find that story again. I think
they said the message was received, right? So
yeah,
there's got to be some sort of callback.
I don't know. I mean, I could see them like in the next one being like, okay, we've gathered the forces that we have. Unfortunately, like Calrissian couldn't make it this time or died on the way or something like that. Like I could see a callback, but like I can't imagine them reaching into the past anymore and bringing past stuff in that's not already there. I think they're just going to be like thinning it out more and more. Who knows?
I wondered what happened to the Senate and what happened to the actual government, because it seems like
they got blown up in Force Awakens. They were the initial planets.
There's just no government, and no one. The First Order again took the army and took the kind of militant forces, and so there's the little band of rebels, and is everybody else just like they're okay with it? They're okay with not having that government? Like, are they trying to rebuild it somewhere? Because there's the rebels, and I would like to see not the people, because they're not people, but like all the others actually stand up against like the tyranny rather than just this little band. Like I say, it's going to spread and people know the symbol all across the galaxy. So like let all the people rise up.
There's still one more episode.
Yeah, not just the angry like little factions.
Plus the 3 after that.
Yeah.
But supposedly those aren't going to link to this.
I think those are going to be an Old Republic trilogy. That could be cool.
Well, this is one big geek out session. Is there anything else you guys are kind of geeking out about?
I don't know.
The Solo movie that's coming out, what, early spring, early summer?
And in 5 months. That was
Yeah.
actually going to be my answer.
I was hoping
I'm
there'd be a
actually
trailer, if nothing else.
I'm looking forward to that one.
I would like to look forward to it, but I don't know. No.
I'm not.
I cannot
I don't
imagine.
like throwbacks with
I can't
that
imagine
many
a
people.
story in his whatever early 20s that would be that interesting. I don't know.
I can only for the fact that I know it's going to be somewhat of a gangster movie. It's going to feature the Kessel Run and the Hutts, and I don't know. I have a lot of faith in Ron Howard and his filmmaking abilities.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't like how whoever is going to be the young Han Solo, like they're gonna perpetuate that, and he is going to be Han Solo. Like it's like they did in X-Men. Like they just kept the young X-Men, so now you just forget who the original ones were, and they just kind of
they're all going away anyway, man. That's all starting over.
Yep. that was a topic we're going to cover in
X-Men now they own
another
them.
Maybe Han Solo will join the X-Men because it's all in the same pot now. So
episode. Chase the Infinity Stones.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Christmas coming up, so this is coming out the day before Christmas Eve. So
Christmas Eve.
Yep.
You guys get anything cool for Christmas?
Some nice time with family, hopefully.
Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah.
And
Nothing terribly exciting.
I better get some Legos.
Yeah, it's fun, right? Now we're saving some of the money for possibly a trip next year, so we're sort of reallocating funds.
Nice.
But
That's good.
Yeah.
Memories are better anyway.
But Legos last forever.
That's true. Even in a landfill, they last forever.
Ugh. Yeah, we saw some when we stood in that landfill the other day. Ugh, that was terrible. That's a topic for another day.
Yeah,
Yuck.
that was terrible.
Sweet.
All right.
You want to do the rounds?
All right, so we would love to hear from all of you. Please visit makinggeeks.com, check out the contact page, and shoot us a suggestion, questions for the show, anything you like. We'd love to hear from you. And once again, make sure to check out the homepage of the site to listen to past episodes, along with all of our fabulous past guests, including our guest today. And go ahead and check out the past 2 episodes we've also done with Bob. They are really, really good. So makinggeeks.com, please check it out.
And you can find us on all of our social media pages on Instagram at Making Geeks Podcast and Twitter and Facebook at Making Geeks.
I would like to thank our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/makinggeeks for helping make this episode possible. And we'd like to give a big shout out to our top patron, Mr. Seth Williams. Thank you so much for your support.
It's the best Nerf herder there is.
Pretty scruffy, though.
Yeah.
Aren't we all? But you can check all of our individual work out at geekbuilders.net, geeksmithing.com, Asylum Designs on Instagram, Thingiverse, and Twitter, and thepiworkshop.com. And Bob, where can people find you?
I don't know. I need to get a website.
On my second channel?
Yeah, I need to get a website because maybe I might start a YouTube channel. I don't know.
It's hard to go from print to actual video media.
The future is in print, guys. The future is in print. Yeah, I like to make stuff.com. And I like to make stuff everywhere, except for Twitter, where there's only one F. Because of character limits.
Sweet.
That's all I got.
And go buy his book.
Yeah, go buy Making Time. It's on Amazon. Go check it out there. You can get it on Kindle. You can get it on paperback version. Or what else can you get on? Like the Nook?
You can get it. No, not yet. You can get the EPUB off my site if you just want to read it on whatever you read stuff on. Yeah. And I might do the audiobook one of these days.
We'll put a link to it in the show notes for you.
Freeman.
Sweet.
I think you should get each one of the people that buys the audiobook to read it, and then you can just have one word of all of their voices.
That sounds like a job that you might want to take on to put together.
It will be my greatest life work.
Yeah.
Sweet. So thanks, Bob, for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you,
Appreciate
Disney,
it.
for
Man.
thanks Disney for making another fun movie. And we hope you stick around. I hope you have a great week. We hope you have a great holiday season. Spend some awesome time with your family. Listen to us whenever you're in that weird kind of in-law function that you don't really want to be in. Just put in an earbud, listen to this, and it'll make it all better.
Merry Christmas.
Ho, ho, ho.
Happy holidays, folks.
See you guys.
Later.